Clubroom Backstage. Anja Schneider is talking to Mathew Hoag, Global Commercial Director of Elrow.
DJs are there to make people happy. Did they make their job? Yes. That's it. For me, that's enough.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to a new episode of the Clubroom Backstage. This is going to be a deep talk with one person from the industry. And I'm very, very happy today welcome one of the most interesting person I know. And today we're going to talk with Mathew Hoag, Commercial Brand Director of Elrow Barcelona. Yes, I'm very pleased to have Mathew Hoag on board on this show. And actually, I have really high goals for this podcast with such an interesting conversation partner. I would love to talk with Mathew about his amazing job as, now we have the first problem, Global Director, Global Brand Manager or Executive Director for Elrow. What is the real name of your job, actually?
Well, Anja, hello. Thank you for having me, first and foremost. It's a really, really big pleasure to being here with you. We know each other for a very long period of time, so this is now really something special for me as well. I'm not used to do many of these, so it's really a big point probably will be of this month. Well, basically the label that I have, I'm a global commercial director of Elrow.
Okay, because I had so much titles of your job, and I know you do almost everything, but I wanted to make it clear. And of course, I would love to talk with you how you got there, because with Detours as a DJ tour and label manager for Hoag back in the days, then you've been the musical director of KaZantip, where we met. Then you've been a DJ by yourself in between. And of course, I would love to talk about your history. You were born and grown up in Slovenia. And we talk a little bit about the Corona situation, because this is something what hit us and charged us right now, actually really, really heavy. No?
Yeah, correct.
Where I catch you now, where are you now?
I'm currently in Barcelona in my apartment. I came back from Shanghai in September. I was in Shanghai for 6 months. And I'm now here in Spain, waiting for the situation to get over and to be back to normal.
It must be really heavy in Spain, as I know you are not allowed to go out only 1 kilometer from your house. And especially I know Barcelona as a city who is always pulsating, is always live there. It must be crazy there, huh? How you can handle this?
Yeah, it's very surrealistic. I think that a lot of people and a lot of countries are experiencing the same feeling and the same weirdness. But you are fully right. Barcelona, it's a very vibrant city. It was always full of people, full of tourists. And with the lockdown being now in place, we are limited, if not basically 100% limited. So we cannot move, we cannot get out of the house if it's not for throwing the trash or walking your dogs or going into a supermarket or a pharmacy. I went out twice in 1 month to throw the garbage and to once go to a supermarket.
Wow.
And I have to be honest with you, it's extremely, extremely weird seeing the streets being absolutely empty. The police patrols are monitoring the situation because some people are still taking advantage of the current state of events, and it's weird. Anja, it's weird and sad at the same time, because this is the city that I love and the city that I choose to be my home for now, and it's extremely, extremely sad to see the situation be like this.
Yes, I can imagine. It must be really, really scary on the other hand. But how is your day looking? Do you have a kind of a routine to go over your day beside of the garbage?
Well, I had to get used to the new way of living each day. I had to get used to forget about the sun, at least not in the amount that I had it before. Basically, I started in the morning. I'm a believer of the Stoic philosophy. I don't know if you know it. It's a very ancient philosophy.
No, you have to tell me about it. Well, it's interesting.
It's an ancient philosophy that was born more than 2,000 years ago. in Greece and then translated in Rome. One of the biggest figure was Marcus Aurelius, who was the Roman emperor, who was having a daily job being an emperor and on the side being a philosopher. So I'm a philosopher. So I'm trying to following this. So I wake up, I do every morning the same steps, dressing up, going to the bathroom, taking
This
care
is
of
good,
myself.
at least.
Yes, doing 2 minutes of exercise, and then doing 15 minutes of meditation over the Stoic method. And then I start my day. I plan out what we have to do with the row. Obviously, these go on till 2 p.m. After that, lunchtime. And then from 3 till 7, 8, 9, work again. And then some exercises with my girlfriend to try to keep fit a little bit, because we are, I believe myself, as 90% of the people around the world are eating a lot in this period, since we are not allowed to go out. So the food is becoming our extremely good friend, even if it's not the most healthy thing. I'm still adopting, Anja. I will be honest with you. I'm still adopting to the new way of working.
Yes.
To using technology to speak with people, to meet with people. I have to be in contact with all our partners. We are brainstorming a lot what our new way of working will be. Obviously, you know, Elrow it's coming from a live sector. We are mostly an event producer. Obviously, we have our labels. Obviously, we have the merchandise. Obviously, we have all those other things. But the events are at the core of our identity. So it's a hard hit, and we are getting used to it. But we are trying to keep positive and trying to see what the future will be, and we believe that it will be bright at the end of the day. This situation cannot last forever, as all the other situations, you know, and it's not in our control. So we have to be mindful of it, and we have to work for the future. We know that the people will be back. The people will want to have fun. They will want to get together. Now, when will this be allowed? It's a big mystery that nobody can answer, actually, at this moment.
Yeah, this is really the most terrible thing, because we are not born to handle insecurity, you know, and this is really something which kills us all. But you already said it. Elrow is, for me, one of the biggest party brands, and it's always coming to life. It's about happiness. It's about good vibes. And I can imagine, I mean, whoever one was already on an Elrow party, you have an amazing big team. How many people work actually in the inner circle for Elrow? Can you talk about it?
Actually, I cannot. I cannot do much. What is the current situation?
But it's a lot.
But there are changes, obviously, that we, as all the other companies that are working in the live spectrum, have to do and have done. But you are right. We are one of the core values that Elrow have. It's bringing happiness and bringing freedom and interaction with people. So obviously, this is affecting us. But again, we will keep on doing this. When, we still don't know, but we will not let our value fade away because of a virus.
This is a wonderful sentence.
You know, we will not stop it. The company and the family that is running the company and that is owning the company have faced many adversities in 150 years of their existence. Thanks God, we still have Juan Sr., which is the father of Juan Arnau, the current CEO, helping us navigating these hard times with his experience, because he's seen it already before, not in this way, but you know, a crisis, it's a crisis. Or it's done by a virus, or it's done by financials, or but whatever means, it's still a crisis. So thanks God we still have him that is helping us ease a little bit the whole situation.
Yeah, so you didn't have to get rid of some people, because here in Germany, of course, some companies, we are all suffering. The economic situation is really bad. So you were able to keep everyone still on board.
Not really. There is a system here in Spain that was done. and it's called Dierte. And we had to juggle a little bit in between the systems.
Okay, so you get help from the government actually, because you are one of the biggest party.
Yeah, we do. We do. It's on a national level. It doesn't. It's not because we are promoters and we work in the entertainment sector. There are many companies from the fashion industry to the automotive industry. Catalonia. It's very strong. It's a very strong region in Spain, and Spain in general have done a system that is helping companies survive this moment of crisis.
Yeah, this is quite good. And of course, this made also all these dark thoughts coming out. It's not really positive for us. But I actually, you already said it, I met you back in the days, 2008, 2009, somewhere in KaZantip. And I met you always like a really positive person. So I never saw you freaking out, and you worked always in really stressful situations, KaZantip or now even Elrow. So you always have a clear vision and be always really kind and really regular. Is that something maybe, or it has to do something with where you're coming from? Because you are born in Slovenia. When actually, and where?
I'm born in Slovenia on the seaside of the country. We have very small. Slovenia is very small, so we have everything is small, right? So we have a very small seaside in a city called Koper. I am from Porto Roche, the Port of Roses. I've been born in 1991, and as you said, probably this is coming from the region where I'm born. Slovenia was Yugoslavia in the time that I've been born, and I was a Yugoslavian citizen for 9 years before some higher powers decided that it's time to keep us apart and divide us. So Yugoslavia was in a war for around 10 years. Thanks God, Slovenia was the less affected in terms of civil effectiveness, but we still felt it without any doubt. We felt it economically, we felt it culturally. From one day to the other, they change your brother from Belgrade. It's not your brother anymore. It's not the person that you rely to or that you confront yourself with and that you have also arguments, but it's become kind of your enemy, or they want to portray it as your enemy. Obviously, this built a very big resilience in you. This built that you have to rethink who you are, rethink your identity, change it, adopt it to something new, adopt to everything new, basically, because everything changed. And it's a very similar situation that we are facing right now. You are prone to hear negative news over and over again, and this make you just probably more compassionate. This make you stronger. This make you think in a different way that you've been thinking. So probably it's coming from that time. Yeah. Yes. But Anja, I want to say something. It's not. I'm really glad that you have said it, and I'm thankful for that. But I'm not always positive. I wish to be, but there are a lot of times that I also lose my temper. Still, I have to say that I work a lot on myself. I try to work on myself regularly, not always successfully, but I try to. But I'm still only a human. And I try to.
But maybe the situation, what you said, actually the war and back in the days. I mean, you were born in 91. It was all happening there, especially with Slovenia, the war. But it was all in all a happy childhood, or?
Yes, very much. Yeah, I have two wonderful parents. I'm an only child. I have two wonderful parents. I've been lucky to be born and raised on a seaside with a lot of sun, with a lot of summers. With some amazing friends. So for the big majority it was. Obviously I have also some negative memories from back in the days because of the situation, but for the big majority, yes, it was a very, very happy childhood. My father exposed me to music in a very early age. He was a big vinyl lover.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the music at your home?
Oh my God! Everything from the Bee Gees to Pink Floyd to the Doors. He used to manage. He used to manage a club.
Really?
When I was very young, like the club of town, because I'm in a small town. It's like 25,000 people.
Okay.
And Dad used to manage that before wanting to be an entrepreneur. So I was exposed to music and to clubs from a very early age. I still remember the first day that I entered into a club. I was probably 12 with a matinee.
Yes, I read that you have been to a club first time in the age of 12. And I was like, wow, okay, this makes sense now. Probably your father was with you, huh? Of course.
No, but it was a matinee. The matinee that was like from 5 to 7, where the kids at that time, I don't know if now it's still used. I didn't saw it for ages, but yeah, for kids, and I will never forget that. Never forget. The first track was Michael Jackson.
Wow.
And there was a competition that night of the best dancer.
No. And?
and I felt absolutely in love with the guy that is playing music and the lights and the sound and this connectiveness that we all had. And this was my beginning of the whole journey.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so we just talked about it. You've been to your first club with 12 years, actually, to a matinee. And you're already known really early in this age that this is something what could be something for your life. And but when you realize, because you said it also, Ljubljana and Slovenia is a really small country. I think you have 2 million citizens or something. But when you realize this could be probably too small for you, when you wanted to have more from life and...
Well, at a very early age, Anja, I moved to New York when I was 18. I was 17, and I said, Mom, I'm going. And she said, where are you going, son? And I said, I'm going to New York. And she said, Jesus Christ, why can I not have a normal kid? So that was, I always had big dreams. And I still do have them. Maybe because of the smallness of the country, maybe because I'm not so tall. I don't know why this is coming. It can be a bad or a good or a bad thing, but I always wanted to go out. I lived in Ibiza for a while. I traveled the world at that time with Umek. So I always want to experience something more. And I realize, as much as I love my country, where I've been born and raised, and I respect it fully, but obviously it have limited options.
But what did you do in New York first? Because it's like a big dream. Everyone, I mean, even I remember I wanted to go to New York, but I didn't have the balls and, of course, not the money and the knowledge. But what did you do in New York just with 70 years?
Nothing related to music. I was lucky enough that one of my at that time, the best friend, and we are still good friends, was working in the fashion industry. Mm-hmm. So she was very hot at that time, and she was very well connected in the city. So I started to work in a French bakery. Mm-hmm. So I had to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and go into the bakery and assist them into making bread and sandwiches and stuff like that. And after that, after a month, I was the assistant of this fashion industry agent.
Wow.
Yes. And I remember this job very vividly, and it was an incredible experience. But also at that time, I started to go to, I was still young. I remember we went to do like a fake ID so that I was able to go. It was right before my birthday. And this friend of mine, I was a huge Paul van Dyk fan.
Yes. Oh my God, me too.
Huge Paul van Dyk fan. I still play sometimes when I have the time some of his music, and she bought me the ticket to this event at that time, and I will never forget. I was living a dream.
Wow.
Literally, Anja, I was living a dream. I was listening to Eric Morillo, going to a Paul van Dyk show. It was like incredible. And from that moment, I understood that basically dreams can become reality. It's just a matter of persistence and of hard work, preparation, and they can become realities despite the adversities, despite the fact that you will probably hear no 1 million times, and you know this better than anyone because DJs are are prone to that, to hear no, 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 no all the time. Despite that, if you are continuing, if you are believing in it, if you are good with people, if you work well, strive for excellence, then dreams can become realities.
It's nice that you said this, because back in the days, how you described this when you were first listening to Paul van Dyk, during this time, it was the same with me when I was going to a party and I had this initial, like, oh my God, there's something. It was so less pressure and I enjoyed this. So when you lose this, you know, this easiness to go on a party without all this business thinking, you know, how is this performing? How much people are there? You know, are you missing these times where it was so easy to be on a party?
Yeah, of course. Of course. You know, Anja, what you are saying now, this is a reason why I left DJing. You know, not because my love for the music have changed or for technology have changed. Absolutely not. It's only increased. But this pressure of having to present your art, of having to present your creativity, and being in a rat race for more money, more shows, more leisure, more this, and a label, and agents, and all of this ecosystem, as beautiful as it is, it gives a lot of pressure. And that's why I finished that. And I miss these times. I miss the small clubs.
And the easiness just to go out with no idea when you want to go back and no pressure. I know exactly what you're talking about. But then you said you've been really early to Ibiza. Do you remember what time this was when you moved to Ibiza?
Yes, my first contact with Ibiza was 2004. If I'm not wrong, it was with Valentino Canziani, which you know. At that time, we had the wonderful idea to move to the island for the summer. And that was my first Ibiza experience. Valentino bought a car from Germany, a BMW, and we packed it up with studio stuff. We packed it up with our clothes, and we went. He rented an apartment in Talamanca, and we were there, right? This was my first. Then I keep on going to Ibiza from that moment on for every year now.
And how much it changed the island? I mean, you're working for the biggest brand in Ibiza, the most successful party. What was different 2004 to last year? Because no one knows how it's going to be this year.
What was different? Well, one of the main difference, in my opinion, first and foremost, let me tell you something. I do believe that Ibiza have to change as the world is changing. Now, if this change is good or bad, each individual have to see for himself. Definitely, there was more music, more different type of music. It was very different. At that time, I remember you could go to Circo Loco and Cocoon on Monday, but you also had Eric Morillo, Paul van Dyk, Armin van Buuren, in different places all over the week. Right now, my feeling is that it's very similar, or it's very similar. The concepts are very musical-wise. I'm speaking only musical-wise. Obviously, Elrow is bringing to the table something else because it's an immersive experience. So we are decorating it, we are putting actors and so on. But musical-wise, there is not much difference, right? The very similar DJs are sharing their nights over there, and there is not so much trance. Probably Ibiza is a reflection of what is happening in the world right now, as being at the epicenter. So that's why we are seeing this. But the biggest change would be this: the difference of style of music that is presented.
Yeah, I think so. It must change something, definitely. But I would love to talk a little bit about your history, because you were working long time with the most successful DJ from Slovenia, Umek. You were working as a tour manager and label manager 5 years. And if you look to the schedule, or like how successful Umek is and was, so this must be the most tiring job at all. So did you know each other from back in the days, or how you met?
No, we met through Valentino. They had a label called Recycle Loops.
Yes.
Back in the days, a techno label. One label was Recycle Loops, the other one was Irresistible Music. So we met through Valentino, obviously, since they were partner in business. Valentino asked me to join his camp. I went up, and then I got to know Uroš slowly. And you know how this is. Relationships sometimes takes a left, takes a right. Uroš asked me if I would do this. I hope that he have seen something positive in me at that time. So he have asked me if I would do the job, and we've done it. And it's true. Uroš, this is his real name, Umek, it's an extremely hardworking person. Yes. He's probably one of the most hardworking person I met in the DJ world. He's relentless, extremely smart, and extremely hardworking. He knows where he's going. That's why at that time his schedule was extremely busy.
How you could handle this when someone has such a big ego, probably?
Anja was hard. Mm-hmm. I have to be honest with you. It was hard. It was an incredible experience. We saw the world together for 3-4 years.
But did you know where you wake up in the morning, or did you sometimes lose it?
No, I lost it. There was time that I didn't know where I am. Mm-hmm. And tour managing, even if it looks like a very simple job, it's actually extremely complicated, because first and foremost, you have to travel the world, right? Then you are in a relationship with this other person that goes beyond friendship, because you spend more time with him than he's spending it with his wife.
Yeah.
So it's this. Then you are at the party, nightlife. He's getting all the credits. Mm-hmm. Everybody forget about you. Then the fee of the artist goes up, and the tour manager usually get like a very small percentage, if get any percentage. I know only one case that it's paid by percentage. Yeah. Everybody else it's paid by fee.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's a very ungrateful job, very, very ungrateful and extremely tiring. Yeah. The travel, the hotel, the dinners, the being smiling, the people, managing the list, helping the artists, interviews, pictures. It's a mess, Anja.
But it prepared you actually for all this, what was coming now. I mean, KaZantip was kind of the same. I mean, a festival which was taking 4 weeks without a break. Back in the days, I met you, I think it was on the Krim, somewhere around when they had this there. How you get to KaZantip and how you were the artistical director? I mean, you had to deal with so many egos there also, logistic problems probably, because people lost a lot of things at KaZantip beside of the mind. How you could do this?
Well, you are right. Let me go first how I came there. I believe that everything prepares you for something different. Everything is a school, right? So myself and Uroš was having a show in St. Petersburg with Etienne de Crécy at that time. And I met the promoter who was called Yuri Marichev. Yeah. We became friends. I didn't hear from him for ages. One day I received a call. Mathew, listen, I have this opportunity for you. Would you take it? KaZantip. This was the 25th of December, Christmas. We have to get everything ready. We have this festival. This is the budget that we have. We want to change the sound of the festival. There is a small team behind it. We get to have everything ready till the 1st of August. This gives us approximately 8 months. Okay, it sounds interesting. Let's go for it. I fly to Crimea, to the airport of Sevastopol.
This wonderful airport.
Wonderful airport, yes. That usually over the year it's not working. It was working only for KaZantip. And I decided to go for it. Book all the artists, work with a team that was used to work in one way. We had to change all of this. It was extremely demanding. Mm-hmm. The pre-event was extremely demanding because we had to change the whole philosophy of the festival. They wanted to go from commercial, from again Paul van Dyk and Armin van Buuren at first, changing everything to Jamie Jones, Marco Carola, Mobile, Riccardo, Cadenza, Luciano, Circo Loco, you name it. So. Pre-show, extremely demanding. Showtime, even more demanding. You make a deal with the hotel changed the deal one day before the artist arrived. Madness. The artists don't want to sleep there. But again, we somehow manage it. I lost 15 kilos year 1. I lost 20 kilos year 2. Nobody died. The artists were happy. They wanted to come back the next year because it was such a surreal experience being in the middle of nowhere in at that time Ukraine, now Russia, with this creative festival with this owner called Nikita that was absolutely crazy, but in a good way, because I believe he's a wonderful creative mind. And it was a great experience that gave me so much. It was so intense and so hard. I don't suggest to nobody to try it, but it gave me so much on the other side of understanding the psychology of the artist, understanding how big events of this type are run, because if you think about it, you have festivals that are run for 2 days, usually 3 days. And when I speak with my colleagues now, when I'm promoting Elrow and exploiting it around the world, they say, yeah, we have this festival 3 days, it's a lot of work. I'm just thinking, Jesus Christ, we were in 15 people running a festival 24/7 for a month. So it's like...
This was the most crazy thing what I ever experienced. And of course, it was wonderful on the other hand. And
did you like it?
I loved it every year. And of course, because there were people like you doing it and keep all the things together. And it was wonderful. It was a great experience. And I am absolutely the same, that I think Nikita was a great guy with good visions. And it was wonderful. I have a record of you, which I was wondering, because you brought Nirvana with you, and this is a record that changed your life. Sometimes it is, sometimes my guests, if I'm going to ask them what record was the initial cut, what changed your life, is like this wonderful techno track they had, like you said, Paul van Dyk, for example, this adventure in New York, this changed somehow your life. But you brought Nirvana, which is quite interesting, still has like a big part in your heart, this kind of...
Oh, God.
Grunge. It's the 90s. It was really important for you, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Well, I was 10, 11, 12, 13. I was always impressed by all music, Anja. I have to be honest with you. I used to work in a radio, so I was exposed to blues, jazz, everything, electronic, hip hop, everything, you name it, I was exposed to that. But Nirvana, maybe because of the time they come out and the story they had, and Kurt Cobain and the whole thing and the impact he had on my generation, I just went full into it. I remember at that time there were people that were huge fan of Guns N' Roses, which I was as well, and then the Queens. There was this battle in between Guns N' Roses and Queens. Yeah. And then there were we, the Nirvana guys, always the rebellious, the weird one, the one with the jeans that are not in one place, that had a little bit of punk moment, had this grunge. We were not happy with the world, we were not happy with who we are, and we find our place in music. And from that time, still till today, I'm still a huge fan. Chris Novoselic and everybody. It's like for me, and Chris was Croatian, partly Croatian. So this made me feel even more close to the band. And Kurt Cobain being blonde, and the music, the message. Incredible personality. Okay. If I just can add something, because you make me think now with Nirvana. It's really interesting how he's member of this Club 27 when they die at 27 years with Amy Winehouse, Jimi Hendrix, and all this one. And now I understand the pressure. Thanks to Umek, thanks to KaZantip, thanks to also Elrow, I can slightly, I don't want to even compare to what they had to, but slightly understand the pressure of them being so exposed and being so under pressure by all these various, the music industry, the fans, the promoters, everything that it's on you. You have to be better, you have to give more. And maybe Nirvana was really not meant to be this more. Like Amy Winehouse, there was just a grunge band that made music for the sake of making music.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this here to the backstage, to the club room. Actually, I know that you've been a DJ in between, and all these, steps of your career, you always were DJing by yourself. And still doing this?
No. I'm doing it very rarely. If Elrow have a barbecue in the office, then I may play some.
They're
music.
doing barbecue in the office. I hope in the backyard.
No, for the office, for the office we did like twice or 3 times. We did some barbecues, or when we go with promoters in Ibiza to Formentera, then I may play some music. But Anja, no. To answer your question, I'm not doing it anymore.
But are you exchanging your music sometimes still with your father, or did he come to Elrow? Or?
He went. He came to Ibiza. I remember the first season that I worked for the company. He came to the island with my mom. They came to see the show. When I used to promote parties, he came. When I used to play, he came. But no, we don't exchange music actually. No, we don't exchange it anymore.
Okay, but he loves it, yeah? He had fun this night.
Yeah. He loves it. Yeah? And he understands it from a different perspective, where my mother not. He understands it from being a promoter, what it means. So he get it. Obviously, his life then took him in another direction, and he stopped doing this, but he still have this feeling for it, yeah.
But since when you are in Barcelona now? You moved there, I think, 2000, 2005, after Umek?
No, after Umek I did KaZantip, then came back to Slovenia. I'm in Barcelona now for 6 years.
Yeah, but you worked before for Bullet Agency, also in Barcelona, as an agent.
Exactly. I wanted to get out of Slovenia and I wanted to find a place where there will be a lot of sun. Because I used to live in Ljubljana, and since I'm a seaside guy, I need a city of sun. And when I used to work with Umek, Arash, the Dubfire's brother, and the owner of Bullet Agency, wanted me to move to Washington and to start working with Bullet. And I wanted to stay loyal to Umek at that time, and I decided to no. I said no. And then I was in a period of my life when I didn't know exactly what to do, and I remember of this invite, and I called Ryan, his partner, a person that you also know very well.
Yeah.
And I say, Ryan, listen, I'm in this period of my life. I don't know what to do with it, actually. I'm up for some changes. Is that invitation still valid? And he said, Mathew, yeah, actually, I want to open an office in Barcelona. Would you like to come? So in 4 months, I take some money that I had on the side and I came to Barcelona not knowing what will happen next.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. But coming back before all this situation, this crisis, this coronavirus hit us, you said it in the beginning, you just came back from Shanghai. Can you describe your days before? You were traveling the whole world, trying to work for the brand Elrow. And what was the most crazy things you achieved back in the days before this all happened? Or
you are right.
I think Shanghai must be crazy. I mean, especially for a brand like Elrow.
Yes, very much. Yeah, Shanghai is crazy. I think for everybody, yeah. For us was as well. As you can see, my life is absolutely not boring. How my day looked like? Well, doing strategies for the brand, planning out several years ahead, having conversations with promoters on a daily basis, discussing with the board of director, which I'm member, not board of director, excuse me, with the executive committee, which I'm member, discussing where the company will go, how we should act from all the parts, and then trying to implement the products that we have all over the world. Shanghai was an experience that was definitely hard, but rewarding at the same time. Is this duality that I'm encountering in every situation that I'm put, because it always have two sides. You have to battle with a completely different culture that it's not better or worse, it's just different. Chinese do things differently. They believe in a win-win business model, where sometimes we want to believe in a win-win, but we are maybe too egoistic and we don't actually apply the win-win situations.
But was it maybe helpful, sorry to interrupt, that you were born in Ljubljana, in Slovenia, that you have a little bit of this, socialistic thing still in yourself? Was it easier to deal with this kind of people?
Absolutely, because I have seen things that remind me of my past. Because, as you have said, Slovenia, socialistic, social communism was at that time, and China, it's communistic, right? So there was a lot of architecture remind me to that. A lot of values were very similar. The respect for the elders, it's still extremely strong in China. This is something that, in my opinion, the West have lost a little bit. Also, we can see it with our crisis. We don't see as the older people like being the wise one that we have to listen. Now, what you have no idea, right? This is our approach. Where in China, this is not like that. So yes, there are a lot of similarities in between China and in between the period of ex-Yugoslavia. A lot.
Yeah.
And very smart question, actually, that you have brought it out. I was never expected, but it's absolutely true.
And how important is it for you to identify so much with the brand you work for? Because I have the feeling you always are the brand, you know? It doesn't matter if it was KaZantip, is it Elrow, you are the face, the heart, the soul of it. How important is it? Could you ever been working for something where you get a lot of money, but you couldn't identify with it?
No. No,
really easy.
No, it's impossible. Look, my passion, my job, it's my life. I mean, I obviously have a life outside of it. I have my partner, I have my relationship, my family, and everything that I nurture. But for me, it's so important to being, one, extremely close with the people that are running it, because I have to understand what their vision is, and I have to co-create it.
Yeah.
I have to be part of the co-creational process, because otherwise, for me, it's not working. I'm not a person that can go to an office at 9 in the morning and finish at 5 p.m. and then forget about it. I wish I had that, but I don't. I don't. I'm not wired in this way. And when I'm taking something on, I take it with my full body and soul. And I embrace it 100%. And first, I want to understand it 100%. I want to understand it, the brand. I want to understand where is the ecosystem that I'm working, and then I can start to create. It's like a painter. I see, this color, it's up there. Probably this color will fit well in our picture, and our picture will fit well in that color, you know. And I have to paint, and I have to connect the dots. I have to build a network.
But is there something what you want to achieve still in your life? Is there something what you're missing? What is your goal? Or are you thinking, oh, I really want to do this? This is something what I have to achieve in the next future.
Now, professional-wise or privately? Privately,
both.
Privately, I want to build a family.
Yeah.
A family of 2 or 3 or 4.
Okay.
This is.
There's one way you can do this.
Yes, exactly. This is my next big wish. I think the time has come. I'm 38, Anja.
Yeah.
I have dedicated all my life to music, and I will still do it, to the entertainment. I will still do it. But now it's the time for my family, my partner, and having a great relationship. Now is the time for that. Professionally, obviously, I'm a big dreamer. I will never stop dreaming. Exactly what it is next, I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm really good in a position where I'm now. I'm working for an amazing company. We still have a lot of plans for the future, and I hope that we will be able to make it. But for now, I wish to stay here. And for next, then every story ends, right? Yeah, we will see. I would not mind being the CEO or working for a major or working for a creative company. Yeah.
I mean, there's one last question what everyone wants to know. And of course, I'm sure you can't answer this, but I have to ask. So what time, when is the Elrow party in Ibiza starting?
I don't know.
This must be terrible, you know, for everyone. And
I don't know. Yeah, it's terrible for all of us, Anja. It's terrible for our community, our industry, but it's also terrible. It's also terrible for everybody around, for the hotels, for the taxi drivers, for the people that are working in clubs, that are giving flyers on the street, that are working behind the computer for the social media of the clubs, that are selling tickets. It's horrible for everybody. It's such a big impact on a global scale. And it's not just, okay, Spain is affected, okay, the world is working, okay. No, it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm speaking with people from Malaysia, people from Chile, people from Germany, people from Bulgaria, people from Greece. Everywhere, everywhere is the same thing. And they will cause so much suffering, that it's, Wow, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how. I know we will get out of it.
We will get out of this. And maybe the world's going to be a better place. We never know. But there is one last thing I have to talk with you. I was really wondering, because we have one track to say goodbye. It's the most love-hate song, something what is the most embarrassing song, what you're probably singing when you're alone under the shower. And you brought up the Swedish House Mafia. Hello. Now we have to talk.
I know, but I didn't hope it will be the last track. I didn't know that.
Oh, can change it still if you want to have a last track, but it's funny, we can, whatever.
No, Anja, why this track? It may sound cheesy, but I don't think, I believe that pop music and let's call it ADM,
Yeah.
if it's quality, it's quality. And music is quality, and that's it. And I believe the Swedish House Mafia, it's exactly not where we are coming from, right?
Absolutely not.
It's absolutely not where we are coming from. But I still believe there is quality in it. I still believe it have a good meaning. Don't you worry, child. Heaven is a place for you. It's a really good message. Mm-hmm. And so the message is not wrong. They are not instigating people to kill each other. It's a really good message, and it's well produced.
It is,
and I respect it, and I respect what the guys have done for the scene and for themselves as well, and for the crowd. Look, DJs are there to make people happy. Period. Yeah. Did Avicii, Swedish House Mafia, Martin Garrix, whoever from that side achieve to make people happy? Yes.
Yeah.
Did they make their job? Yes. That's it. For me, that's enough.
Oh, this was a wonderful last word. Thank you so much, Mathew. This was Mathew. Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon and hug you in person. I really miss this. This is really crazy that you miss these little things in life, you know, that you hug people or be like close to someone. This is really something what I miss.
I agree too. Thank you for having me. And I'm really, really looking forward to hug you in person next time. And I see you soon, and a huge kiss to all your listeners.
Also to Barcelona. Tschüss, mein Engel. Tschüss.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Thank you for listening. This was the Club Room Backstage for this episode. I will be back very soon with a deep talk, and I'm gonna have a really, really interesting person next episode. I can't tell you right now, but please stay tuned on my social channels. You will find it out there, and I can't wait to be back and talk with you. Cheers.
Club Room Backstage.
Produced at Blackout Studios.